What is the best way you've seen a guy hit on a girl? Watched a guy fall down skiing on the steepest part of a run and he could not stop. Skis, poles, hat and gloves go flying. As he is rolling and sliding, I notice he's about to do a bowling ball slam into a girl standing at the bottom. He spreads out his arms and legs and manages to stop, but lying face up, feet uphill, and she is just looking down at him like WTF. He says, "I've been trying to meet you all day." This one doesn't result in a marriage or anything, but in terms of hitting on a girl, it's so ballsy, I love it. A buddy of mine used to go up to a girl at the bar, take her drink, slug it down in one go, then sit down and smile, saying, "Hey, you look like you need a drink." Unbelievably, it worked sometimes. Get a buddy real drunk and tell him to hit on a girl. When he blows it, we swoop in and apologize for our drunk friend, buy him a drink if required to, and boom. In there like swimwear. Works 90% of the time. All the time. Reading this just explained the last 10 years of my life. Met a gorgeous girl early at the beginning of a night party. A few minutes before midnight, I saw her again, and she gave me a frustrated frown. "Is something wrong?" I asked. Last New Year's I didn't have anyone to kiss at midnight, and I was really hoping this year would be different. Guess not. I had been drinking, but not so much as to miss an opening like that. Took her in my arms and kissed her up to and through the countdown. At the time it all seemed very spontaneous, but later I learned she had been practicing that line for over an hour. Anyway, this August will be our 20th anniversary. EHH, this story is about me. Was at a party, talked to this tall thin redhead for not even 2 minutes. Cops show up and shut the party down. Her friend asks her if she is coming home with her that night, so I interrupt her and say we were just talking and she's actually coming home with me tonight. Her friend turns to her and asks, "Oh, you're going home with him then?" She looks at me and nonchalantly says, "Looks like I am." Never in a million years did I expect that to work. Then we went to my place and did things. At a fancy party, I was in heels and a little drunk. Stumbled down the last few stairs on the staircase. Nothing serious. A smartly dressed guy rushes over, helps me to my feet. Once I'm back to my vertical self, he takes my hand, looks me dead in the eye, and says, "I'm sorry. I should have been there to catch you." Panties dropped all the way to China, I swear. Edit. For those asking what happened in the end, it was a work party, and I had to catch my ride home. Shortly after I was fired, and, sadly, never saw him again. What if it was a big awkward dude with a fedora saying, "I should have anticipated your needs, laddie"? I've seen a lot of one-liners fail in the past, but just a week ago I saw a 13-year-old boy pull one off flawlessly. There happened to be 2 sets of kids where I work, all about the same age, 11 to 13 years old. The girls had walked past where the boys were sitting to go to the restroom, obviously the girls going all together. On their way back, a brave boy asked one of the girls to help him. Curious, she asked how. He asked her what type of phone she had, because his was broken, and he didn't know how to fix it. So she went over and was looking at it, and after not finding anything, she asked what was wrong with it. "It's broken because it doesn't have your number in it." The girl's dad happened to be passing by at the time, and he was laughing so hard I thought he was going to put his daughter's number in the kid's phone for her. Once walked up to a girl and said I owed her an apology. Could I take her out to dinner to apologize? Naturally, having never seen me before, she asked why. I should have asked earlier. Didn't work, but I got a giggle and a blush. One of my close friends and I were playing pool in our dorm commons when this knockout brunette sat down with a few of her friends. Me and my friend both noticed she was glancing at him, but we continued to play pool. A half hour or so goes by, and I asked him what he was doing the following day at 6. When I finished class, he turns and smiles at her before telling me whatever she is doing at 6. Her jaw dropped, and she started giggling. They dated for nearly a year after that. It was the smoothest thing I have ever seen to date. A very good looking friend of mine walked up to a girl, bought her a drink, asked her name and said, "Can I duck you?" Unbelievably, she said yes, and they disappeared for 2 hours. I just stood there, stunned. They returned looking sweaty and disheveled and spent the rest of the night chatting and flirting. They have been dating for 2 years. Best one I've seen. I was sitting at the bar with a buddy of mine. and there was an attractive woman on the other side of him. He says, "Watch this," and proceeds to turn to face her and introduce himself. They shake hands, and when their hands touched, he grabs her hand and say, "Hey, you have such small hands. My PP is going to look huge." I had to put my head down on the bar because I was almost crying laughing and fully expecting him to get a good ol' slap for that one. Nope. She laughs and they proceed to flirt it up. Still amazed that worked. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Yes, he is a handsome fella, but there's no way that should have worked. But God, was it ever hilarious. I might be late to this party, but I have to admit it was probably myself. When I was 5 years old, I literally hit, with a stick, the cutest little girl I'd ever seen, while playing in the park near her house. She ran home, and told her dad, who read me the riot act. 12 years later I took her to senior prom, and another 11 years after that I married her. I was walking to class a couple months ago, when I saw a guy and girl nearly bump into each other going through a tight doorway. They looked at one another and gave their respective awkward smiles, but then both tried to walk the same way around. Twice. They looked again at each other when the guy put his hands on the girl's waist, picks her up, and slowly places her on the opposite side of himself. I had to walk past them at this point, but when I looked up she was staring at him and blushing, and I saw them talking outside after class and seemed to be hitting it off. My buddy saw a girl standing alone at the bar and happened to notice she was wearing a Star of David necklace. He walks up to her and says, "Hi, are you here with someone, or are you just waiting for your messiah?" She threw a drink in his face. I don't remember getting hit on very smoothly many times. One time I can remember, this college guy walked up to me trying to get me to help a fundraiser or something, and after the conversation he said, "Hey, one more thing. Has anyone told you what's wrong with you today?" No. Good, because it's not a damn thing. It really made me smile. I don't know if this is the best way per se, but I definitely had something random and very cool happen to me at a bar. Simply put, I was standing next to this really cute girl. I don't know if he saw her checking me out or something, but this guy comes up to us, makes eye contact with her, points at me and goes, "Man, that's a really cool blazer, don't you think?" She gives me a once over and agrees. He gets his drink from the bar and leaves without saying another word. Instant attraction. Dancing and hooking up happen. Thank you, random awesome wingman, wherever you are. I never got the chance to say that. My buddy Will is the master of hitting on girls. This is a story from his college days. He's an eccentric person and always made paper flowers out of the napkins in our university cafeteria. For over a year, he hid these flowers around our residency hall, and a notorious rose kid was born. People talked about the roses around school, and he always hid them in weirder places. The cafeteria women would wear them in their hair, and they adorned the front desk. I shit you not, multiple girls began collecting entire bouquets of them. Come the next year, my buddy has a lot more confidence, and he starts initiating a lot of conversations with potential lady friends. Frequently, he would go up to random girls and hand them flowers to initiate conversations. One time, we were on the city bus doing the crossword, and he saw a cute girl in front of him. She had a bag of groceries and was looking the other way. He tossed the flower into her groceries and she didn't notice. Minutes later, he dropped his paper onto her bag, and she looked over and up at him. He apologizes, leans over to grab it, and says, "Huh, where'd you get that flower?" He talked to her the rest of the 20-minute bus ride as I sat there on my phone. My parents met when my mom was working at McDonald's in the drive-thru window. My dad pulled up and said, "Hey, this isn't what I ordered. I ordered a Big Mac, a fry, and a date with you." Somehow that worked, and here I am. He went up to her and asked her if she had dropped some random item he had in his hand, then proceeded to tell her a funny story, and that was it done. I think he showed most guys in the club that you don't need to instantly comment on a woman's physical appearance or grab her bum to win her over. My friend and this girl were talking. Girl tells a guy his joke was shit. Guy replies saying she looks like shit, and immediately follows up with, "See, now we're both lead and we just look stupid." This could go really bad, really fast.